88 Bible.
It's time for the Business Spotlight on your talk show. Each week at this time, we're proud to focus on the efforts of local businesses and give you some behind-the-scenes information on what makes the businesses in our community tick. Now, here's Tim Bremmel with this week's special business guest.
Joining me in the studio this time around, Caleb Schaefer, the owner of Superior Technologies in Janesville?
Yes, sir.
In Janesville. Okay. Well, it's good to find out about you because I'm not sure if people did just what I did. Superior Technologies, where's that? I didn't hear about that. It's one of those interesting things, and I'm guessing that you're around for a couple of years now, or?
Yeah, so we've been an actual LLC for a little over a year and a half now. I was running it as a sole proprietorship for about a year and a half before that, so about 3 years.
Because that's what happens is, you're a guy in a garage to a degree, and you do good work, and people notice, and you get busier, and the business starts to grow and grow. All of a sudden, you got this full operating business, and you realize that you never really said anything to anybody. It's just been a lot of word of mouth and maybe some social media and some of that kind of stuff. So congratulations, because you've gotten through the hard part of starting up a business to a degree. And so here you are ready to serve the listening area here. What exactly does Superior Technologies offer today?
So from a high-level standpoint, we offer multiple systems that are all related to low voltage. And really what that winds up being is security cameras, door access control systems, alarm systems, network wiring and cleanup, servers, phone systems, things like that. So we're kind of a hybrid between a security company and an IT company. And the real goal behind that was my previous career was in networking, and I spent a bunch of time working with different companies on all these different projects regarding these different categories. And I saw the disconnect in communication and the issue of hiring 5 companies to come to your new building, your new facility, or your remodel to try to execute all these while working with your IT department. And it can be a struggle. So basically, we try to provide everything so that way our customers don't have to work with 5 companies. We're kind of a one and done. We'll handle it all, and you don't have to worry about it.
Well, I went through that just a little bit, assisting my church, because they think because I do this for a living, I somehow have all this technical knowledge. But anyway, yeah, it was exactly that. They wanted to put some door security cameras up. And so the camera guy's there, and he's like, who's your IT guy? Because we got to talk to him because we got to link it into your router or whatever it is. And all of a sudden we're trying to coordinate this 3 or 4 person circus and get everybody there at the same time to coordinate with each other. You basically strive to eliminate that.
Yeah, and we still wind up working with a lot of IT departments, which is great. But we're able to solve a lot of the problems at the same time. So we're minimizing points of contact.
So are you residential, commercial, both?
Both, yep.
Okay. So if people are reinventing their business models, a lot of people are these days, creating home offices, things like that, where they may need linkages back out to the outside world that otherwise they didn't, VPNs and those kinds of stuff. Are you able to assist in that vein, or is that more of an IT function?
We're able to assist to some capacity. For VPNs, if you're connecting to your business, you're definitely going to need to work with your IT department on that. But as far as setting up home offices or building custom offices, we do things like that, and then we also help improve Wi-Fi networks for large homes. That a lot of problems that we can solve for residential that play into the whole work at home scenario, like running cables, through their attics and walls to maybe an area where they didn't have an office previously.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's a lot of that. I'm fortunate enough to have a son who works in IT, so I got my own personal IT guy. But but I just know in my home, some of the things that we ended up doing when the pandemic hit, we're creating a network, I guess is what he did, between what became my office and what became my wife's office, because we had 2 home offices, both needing access to the internet and high speed and all this kind of stuff. And we and so there's a lot of logistics behind that, and we don't have the most complex home setup, because pretty much everything that you mentioned in the opening there, Caleb, is now done through the internet hubs. Is that right? Like my home security camera and my whatever, are they still independent systems, or are they all kind of wired together in one hub somewhere?
I mean, everything's pretty much connected. I mean, that's the whole point of networking, right? So that way you can view things remotely they're not there. Just like cameras, if you want to view cameras from home and you're not at home, you're going to view them over a network. So theoretically, everything is connected, but I would still say they're their own systems at the same time. So it's not really an easy answer for something like that.
Okay. So much like, I guess, my printer is a printer, but it doesn't do much if I don't put it into my network.
Right.
The same sort of thing. You can have all the cameras up and running and whatever, but if you want the full functionality, you need to integrate this stuff.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things that you guys do. When it comes to that, I know these outside security systems are becoming wildly popular, necessary in a lot of ways. With all the changes and the porch pirating that's going on, people want to be able to see their packages on their porch and that kind of stuff, and
Definitely.
and what the cats are doing in the house or the dogs are doing in the house, all that kind of stuff. What does it take to put something like that into? I mean, obviously, it matters how many cameras you want and those kinds of things. But is it a multi-day project? Is it a day-long kind of thing? What would it take?
So most residential projects that we do for camera systems, they're typically going to be between 4 and 6 cameras, and we usually knock those out in under 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
And that includes running all the wires through your attic and down through the walls and making sure everything's clean and working for you and getting it set up on your phones. And we do most of those projects for around $1,000. So we're usually in and out pretty quick, and we're cheaper than pretty much anybody you can find around here that's legitimate and licensed and insured.
Well, and what you just said is, I think, probably important to a lot of people, because I know how it is. My house it was built in the 70s, and it's a split level, and basically it was built to take television signal off the air, and then we got cable, and they came in, where do you want it? Well, the TV's in the middle of the room, and there's a cable that runs from the wall along the edge of the carpeting, and you tuck it down in there, and then all of a sudden you say, I need a computer in here, and I got to have a internet line, and they do this, and all of a sudden I got wires running all over the place, and the fact that you can actually still take the time to hide them is exceptional, I think.
Well, I appreciate that. One of the things we love doing is cleaning up after the mess of the big internet service providers that are around here. They make it pretty clear that, like you said, they'll just run wire on the floor or poke it into whatever wall you want, but they don't really do everything the right way. So that's one of the things that we bring to the table. We work with a lot of people when they're building new facilities or remodeling. We'll actually work directly with the ISP to make sure everything is clean and up to our standards. So we hold them accountable on every level.
So you can help out with the video surveillance. You can help out with security systems. That's also a big thing these days. Now, give us your take on security systems, because you hear a lot of advertising out there about things that I always question. I don't mean to besmirch anybody, but whenever they tell me, it just shows up and all you got to do is stick a sensor on and plug in your internet or whatever and it works, I'm like, I'm a wires guy. Even working in this technology, I still like to know there's 2 wires connecting that thing to that thing. How do you approach security, home security or business security systems?
So my background being in networking, I also like everything hardwired, which is why we also try to avoid like wireless cameras and things like that. Mm-hmm. But pretty much all alarm systems nowadays are wireless for the majority of the sensors.
Okay.
A lot of the residential stuff that you see online, like the Ring alarm system and things of that nature, they're decent for what they are. If you want to have a really low monthly fee and a really basic alarm system, they're decent. A lot of them do have defects or workarounds that are known to be able to bypass those systems if you have, pre-existing knowledge that that's what's installed. But overall, we use wireless sensors for all of the alarm systems that we install, unless we're doing a commercial job, in which case we hardwire everything.
Okay.
Same with residential. So our approach is, we're going to install the best that we can, and we're going to give it to you at the best price that we can, and we're going to make sure you're happy at the end of the day, no matter what.
The other thing I noted from your website, which, by the way, is superiortechwi.com, is TV wall mounting, which would seem to not be in the same wheelhouse, except that when you start to talk about putting these systems in and putting things online and whatever, sometimes they say, well, I would like a bigger monitor, or I'd like this. So I suppose once you can figure that out, it only makes sense that you can also offer TV wall mounting, but that's what everybody wants these days. Nobody wants their TV on a stand anymore.
Exactly. So TV wall mounting is an interesting one. It is kind of outside of our realm, but we actually do a lot of TVs. So the reason we added it as a service is because we interface with all the stuff connecting to TVs, especially in businesses. So, we install a lot of camera systems and put live video displays into different businesses and even some residential projects. So it just makes sense that we install TVs as well. And we don't just want to set them on a stand or require our customers to buy a stand. So it's a pretty easy one to go after. It kind of directly relates to a lot of things that we do. And the other reason why I really wanted to get into TV wall mounting is because Best Buy charges an insane amount for their TV mounts and for their wall mounting services. So from a friendly competition standpoint, I just kind of want to give them a run for their money locally.
All right. Well, and again, out here in our green room would probably be one of the perfect examples. They've got 2 monitors up there that they use for a variety of different things, but they're not I think I don't know if they're hooked up to the actual television network or not, but what we use them for welcome screens and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of businesses, again, I know, churches that I've looked at trying to figure out how to spread people out during COVID have often mounted a couple extra monitors and tried to spread the congregations out and things like that. So it makes a lot of sense. What is the history here? Take us back a little bit, just so we can see where you've come, because it sounds like a pretty robust set of services that you offer right now. But as you said, 3 years ago, you were a sole proprietor. What were you doing? How did you decide that you were going to start your own business?
So 3 years ago, I was actually working at Prent here in Janesville as a network analyst. I might have been a network analyst too at that point. I'm not sure. But basically, my duties were everything from running wire, wall mounting TVs, interfacing with paging systems and alarm systems, setting up firewalls, switches, pretty much anything IT related or anything that plugged into the wall we did as an IT department. So almost everything that I offer besides alarm systems or that we offer as a company, I did previously for my previous employer. And as I got promoted in the job, I kind of realized how much I hated sitting in a desk because when I started there, I was a grunt and we pulled tons of wire. The GoX building on Highway 14, we pulled over 6 miles of Ethernet cable.
Wow.
So when I was doing it, I kind of, I was like, I don't really like this. I don't want to be pulling all this wire and doing all this physical labor all the time. But the more time I actually wound up spending at a desk in the later years in that job, the more I realized how much I liked being out and about and, actually working with my hands and being physical. So it kind of inspired me to go and create that for myself because the way I was going, moving up in an IT department, typically you're just going to spend more and more time at a desk or at a conference room table.
Absolutely.
So
do you remember your first paid job as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I do. So my old office manager, so I used to work at the Diamond Center before I went to college and went to Prent, which great people, by the way. I still love everybody from the Diamond Center. My old office manager, Megan, actually called me because she'd gotten a new job out at Badger State Maintenance in Milton, and she needed a PC set up, and the owner didn't want to work with the previous IT company. So I went out there just to set up, a cheaper PC for her. I think it was a $400 computer in their little office, and I got to meet the owner, Nate Rogers. And I told him kind of what I did at Prent and the stuff that I was working on, and he looked at me and he was like, "Do you want to do my new building?" And it was really random. So I didn't even really think about it. I was like, "Heck yeah, I do." And later that night, I registered my business on Wisconsin's website as a sole proprietorship, and that was my first project. And on that project, I met a gentleman named John Favreau who owns a general contracting company here out of Janesville called Evergreen Designs. And since working with John on that project, he's brought me into multiple other projects as well. So has Nate. So really the two of them have contributed significantly to my growth, as well as some other people. So, but that was my first paid project, and that started out as probably a $5,000 project, and probably with scope creep worked its way up to a $20,000 project by the time it was done. So
yeah, these kind of projects have a way of doing that, don't they?
Definitely. Which it's okay. It's normal in the construction industry.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but because a lot of people just think, I want a security camera, and you go, okay, where? Well, here. Okay, well, which way do you want it pointing? Well, I want to see both sides. Well, then you need two. And I mean, that's when you start to analyze that. So when you deal with people or businesses that you're working with, Caleb, do you have a much like a kitchen designer would sit down and kind of scope it out first, or is this pretty much just a kind of adjust on the fly to what people are asking you for kind of situation?
It's a little bit of both. So we do offer free site surveys for anywhere that's within an hour typically. Sometimes we'll charge a travel charge just to make sure that the client is actually interested in what we're offering. But with that free site survey, if we're doing a camera system, typically what I'll do is I will take an aerial view from like Google Maps, and I will make a camera layout and just get everything approved and get a plan made ahead of time. But that being said, people still add stuff, and we wind up making changes, as the install is happening. So there's typically a good plan going into it. Whether or not that gets followed to the full extent, that may vary.
And then you also can work with them beyond the cameras for entry systems and that kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, we do door access control systems as well. So card readers, electric strikes, electric push bars, mag locks, things like that.
So can you make my 3 key cards that I have in my wallet right now down to 1?
Are those all for different buildings?
Yes, they are.
Then no, I cannot.
That's one of the things right now is everybody's going to those systems, which are good security systems, and they're a little mystifying to me because when I look at it, it's just a white card. Yet somehow the gear knows which card it is, I guess.
So there's a tiny little antenna in that little card that has a number programmed into it, and it's constantly transmitting that number, and nothing reads it except for an RFID reader. Mm-hmm. So that to get rid of some of the mystifying effect, it's really just transmitting a number constantly. So that's the general idea behind RFID readers.
And it's doing that without power?
Correct.
Oh,
yep.
Okay. So I don't ever have to replace the battery in my
No, yeah, no battery in it. They can break and wear out, but yeah, no battery.
All right. Well, it's technology is moving like crazy, and as more of that stuff shows what advantage it can be for people, I got to believe that you're going to be finding yourself in all kinds of challenging situations, trying to hide wires in brick houses and things like that as you go. Definitely. So. Let's talk about where you want to take the business here. You're 3 years from startup. What's the vision here? Is this going to be the next Geek Squad type place nationwide, or where are you going to be?
I don't know if my dream is necessarily that big. I would definitely like to take over southern Wisconsin in general and really just show the big dogs that we can give them a run for their money, especially in terms of quality and the price for the quality that you get. So long term, all of Wisconsin and maybe the tri-state area, Illinois, Iowa, that's kind of the plan. If it goes nationwide, that would be awesome. Not necessarily my goal, though. I really just want to, make it a lifelong business, and I really enjoy helping people with technology and with security. So as long as I can do that, make enough money to pay my bills, I think I'll be happy either way.
Well, it takes a certain kind of business model to do it nationwide, and I know that most people I've ever talked to in that regard, you lose what you started out with, which is your personal touch right now. And it just seems to me from talking here this morning, Caleb, that you've got that knack of being able to be really good at what it is you do, but dumb it down for me so that I can understand what it is you're saying. I've never had anyone explain the key card to me quite in that fashion before. Because when it comes to networking, I mean, people you guys have a language all your own. And
oh, definitely.
When I've had people come in and start to explain to me what they need to do, I'm like, you're talking, a foreign language to me, right? I need it to work. But if you telling me all these things is not going to enable me to ever have a positive interaction with this equipment, it's really not helpful to me. So just go ahead and do it. It sounds to me like you, however, can give some people an understanding of what's going on with that gear.
Yeah, that's definitely one of our big goals. We want our customers to feel comfortable with the technology that we install or that we support. So that way, they're not afraid to use it and they're not afraid to ask questions. It winds up working out better for both of us.
Sure. All right. So when it comes to networking, that's a wide-reaching term these days. So if I have 2 computers in my house and a TV system that gets its signal through my computers, which I do, it's Wi-Fi, Roku, whatever it is that a network?
Yeah, that's a small home network.
And then when you go to the equipment room over here and you see the giant rack full of stuff with like 1,000 green wires coming out of the back of it, that's also obviously a network.
That's a bigger network, yep.
And you're comfortable in both spaces.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've spent some time in data centers, and I've broken my fair share of things to feel comfortable in those situations. So
pretty much, if you're listening right now, Caleb can probably help you out. Is there anything that you would consider too big or too small at this point?
Anything that's more than 2 or 3 hours away would have to be a pretty big project for us to take on. It is just me and 2 part-time employees still. So besides that, I would say no. I mean, we're pretty much ready for anything. We've done large installs. We can knock out a 16-camera commercial install in just about 2 days. So we can do pretty much any size job right now. All
right. Well, I'm sure there is demand out there, and now everybody knows one other place to call. Superior Technologies. It's I lost the website. No, there it is. SuperiorTechWI.com for your website. Phone number?
608-201-6777. And as the owner, I do answer all of the calls myself and return all of them.
Oh, I don't get the little recorded voice telling me that my call is important, but you're going to leave me on hold for an hour?
No hold music. You might hit my voicemail if I'm busy, but I usually call back pretty quick.
All right, Caleb, good to meet you. Good to learn about Superior Technologies. It's a pretty cool local business. And again, you don't have to go outside the local community. That's what this segment focuses on. Good to have you up here.
Thank you so much.
Wish you much success in the future.
I appreciate it.
You're supposed to leave a business card. Maybe leave 2.
Sounds good.
We have the debate coming up for you tonight, gang, at 8 o'clock. Don't forget about that. And this afternoon, filling in for Stan Milam, it's Rich Gruber. The Southern Wisconsin Midday News is straight ahead. Thanks for being out there. And join us again tomorrow at 9:10 for another edition of your talk show, where we will feature, by the way, the candidates for the 2nd Congressional District at 9:15. So top of the show tomorrow, it's Mark Pocan and Peter Theron debating the issues on your talk show on WCLO Janesville Beloit. Have a great Wednesday, everybody.
Shoppers are very important people. They spend their hard-earned money on their products and services that serve them best. We're interested in learning about your favorite brands. Please go to WCLO.com and take a quick shopper survey. You could win your share of $1,000 in gift certificates to local businesses.
I'm Tony Burrell, Superintendent of the Wisconsin State Patrol. Public safety is our primary mission. Every day, our troopers and inspectors work hard to keep people and commerce moving safely. But drivers need to do their part. That means following these simple rules. Buckle up, phones down, slow down. Thanks for helping us move towards 0 deaths on Wisconsin roads.
A life-saving message sponsored by the U.S. and Wisconsin DOTs.
Dutch Boy's new Platinum Plus paint with Stain Shield technology has the performance you expect from a luxury paint at a price you didn't. Platinum Plus is up to 50% more washable and stain resistant than a leading premium paint in satin sheen. Superiority ranges from 24 to 50% depending on sheen selected. Platinum Plus keeps your walls looking new longer. Menards and Dutch Boy paint have you covered. Go ahead, live your life.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Savings or mail-in rebate. See store for details.
It's finally here, the flooring sale you've been waiting for. Carpet Mart's 55th anniversary sale is Rock County's biggest and best flooring sale of the year. Tremendous savings on carpet, vinyl, ceramic, and laminates. Save up to 70% on roll-ends and remnants at Carpet Mart. Save big at Rock County's biggest and best flooring sale of the year at Carpet Mart in Janesville. Hurry, sale ends soon.
Carpet Mart, Milton Avenue, Janesville. Locally owned and operated for over 50 years. Quality flooring backed by a service you can stand on.
As an emergency medical technician, I hope motorists can remember these 4 life-saving words. Buckle up, phones down. It means wear a seatbelt, every seat, every trip. And when driving, stay focused on the road ahead. Protect yourself, spare your family, and emergency responders from needless trauma.
Do your part to help us move towards 0 deaths on Wisconsin roads. A safety message, sponsored by the U.S. and Wisconsin DOTs.
Let nothing stand between you and the tree stand with this great offer on the fast, durable Kubota Sidekick from Johnson Tractor. The Kubota Sidekick features a gas-powered engine that delivers a top speed of 40 miles per hour, best-in-class acceleration, and handling with cargo and a 2-year, 1,000-hour warranty. Get the Sidekick now for 0 down, 0% APR for 60 months, or save $2,700 now through October 31st. See Johnson Tractor or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
We all want to build wealth, achieve financial stability, and reach a bright retirement. Join Sheena Hansen Thursday afternoons at 3:15 for the More for Your Money weekday edition, right here on WCLO